Yesterday, South Africa Tourism signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Emirates Airlines to jointly promote tourism and boost visitor arrivals and inbound traffic to South Africa. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed on the sidelines of the Arabian Travel Market in Dubai. The Minister of Tourism, Lindiwe Sisulu, was in attendance at the signing. She joins us now via Zoom. A very good morning to you, Minister. Thanks for making the time.
Good morning, and thank you to you for making it possible for us to communicate with our people. A very successful trip we've had.
That's good to hear, Minister. What's the content and structure of this MOU, and how will it boost traffic to South Africa?
Well, the MOU was the high point of our travel here. We came here at the invitation of the United Arab Emirates to take part in the Arabian market, something that is similar to our own Indaba that we've just concluded in Durban. And we had a very successful time. And at the end of it, we signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Arab Emirates Airlines. And it gives us unlimited access to this area, an area that is very much part of our target group. We've been in deliberations with the Emirates to make sure that we can sign this agreement. We have now signed this agreement, and it was represented at the highest level. We're greatly honored that we had this opportunity to have the highest level of representation from the UAE. And here are the key benefits for us as South Africans out of this MOU. It is going to help us support our recovery efforts in South Africa. We have, as you know, been devastated by COVID, and we're hoping that tourism can be the pickup backbone of the South African economy to take us through to the next level and get out of our situation. So we ticket this off as one of the most important recovery points for us. And through this MOU, we have a joint marketing campaign strategy between ourselves and the Emirates Airlines. We use this for our marketing purposes. And we're hoping that we can market South Africa globally, even in those areas where we don't fly South African Airways. Emirates will carry the message for us about how South Africa is the best destination for tourism and all of those good things that we would like to put out there globally for people to come and visit our country. It'll also help us with familiarization of programs to South Africa that we are selling as packages out there to the world. And it'll improve our travel and trade media, and we are hoping that this joint venture will really reach out further than we are able to reach out on our own. And it'll ensure that we are equipped to make sure that our South African market understands what is required of it and can rise to the level that we have found here in the UAE. Emirates, as you know, is a premier airline for this area, and we're greatly appreciative of this effort from them to reach out to us. We hope that we can pick up on what we've learned. We've learned a lot in the time that we've been here, and we want to pick up on what we have learned and improve our own facilities around our own market and our own airline. We want to ensure that we can support transportation to the southern African part of Africa, because, as you know, we are a hub of several states around us which depend on Johannesburg to travel out to other countries. We want to incentivize competitiveness. If we pitch ourselves at the level of Emirates, then I am certain that we will get to a place much better than we are right now. We want to empower our trade operators through this agreement. I could send you a whole lot of things that we are going to be benefiting out of this arrangement more than the time that we have. But it is written down and it will be sent to you.
Minister, of course, you speak about the joint marketing efforts, alluding to the fact that this is a two-way engagement. But locally, your department
Yes.
always engaged in efforts to encourage South Africans to travel the country. How will you engage South Africans about traveling to the Arab world?
Well, you were asking about the memorandum. The nitty-gritty of the memorandum will still come, and we will be open to the public on how they can enhance what we were to put into the text of the memorandum beyond what we have agreed. This is an agreement, and we want South Africans to feel free to contribute to how they feel that they can be empowered within this memorandum. And the reason why we are online with you is to say to South Africans, hey, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity of partnering with one of the most eminent trade partners, with the most eminent airline. And we would like to use this opportunity. Joint ventures in advertising both destinations would be of great benefit to us. Emirates travels everywhere. And if we use Emirates to advertise ourselves as South Africa and South African Airways, then it means that our reach is far greater than what we've had up to now.
Yeah. Minister, they also speak about exposure to key markets in the Emirates network. Are you able to give us a bit of detail here?
Yes.
And how are these conversations flowing into the national conversations about rebooting the South African economy?
Well, as I've indicated, Emirates has a reach that we could only dream of. And if we piggyback on them, then we will be partnering. Even as they send out their messages, they'll be sending out messages that into places that we don't have reach in. And this is one of the most exciting clauses for me in the memorandum, is this joint effort to sell both countries. We're going to be selling our country through Emirates. We're going to be selling SAA through Emirates. We're going to sell our destinations through Emirates. We're going to sell the tourism sector of South Africa. We're going to sell South Africa through a vehicle that we don't have, and a vehicle that has reach that very few other vehicles that we have any relationship with. So we are actually benefiting greatly from having this joint venture, and this joint venture of making sure that we can market South Africa. Obviously, they'll also be marketing the UAE, but we are the greater beneficiaries in the marketing space because we are opening up our market possibilities to reach all those areas that they reach.
And talking about SAA, how are the machinations at the national airliner impeding the work of tourism, the work that you're doing to try and revive tourism?
Well, this is something that we will talk about when we get home, because it will have to be a joint discussion between ourselves and the minister responsible for SAA. To be very difficult for me to be speaking on their behalf. But one of the other things that we are doing here now is working together with the embassy here to try and sort out one of the most critical problems we have in free travel, which is the visa problem. We have a meeting with them to try and work out why it is so difficult for people to access this market, and why it is so difficult for the people in the Emirates to go to South Africa, whichever way that we are responsible for the bridge. It resides with our embassy, and we're going to go there and try and work out the nitty-gritty of how we can have ease of access between the two countries, ourselves and the UAE. But by tomorrow, we will be sending you communication on how far we have gone with this matter. What are the impediments? What are the requirements? What is it that the UAE does not want out of South Africa? It does not want fugitives. It does not want people who are not compliant with certain requirements of this area. All of that is something that we need to sort out and teach our South Africans. If you want to travel to this country, this is what you're required to do. We also want to make sure that we can make it very clear to people traveling from the UAE to South Africa what it is that is required of them, because there have been complaints about visas going to South Africa. If we clear this up, then that will be one big hurdle. And hopefully we could have an advert that runs in both airlines that indicates if you want to travel, or if your friends want to travel to South Africa, or they want to travel to the UAE, this is what is required. And it becomes so much easier, therefore, to ensure the kind of travel that we are hoping to get out of this matter, out of the OAU and out of the MOU, and also all other impediments that we will be clearing while we are here.
We'll certainly
await.
An
important thing that I want to. This is an important point that I want to put across to you.
Absolutely.
We also use this opportunity, because it is called an Arab market, to expose what tourism possibilities South Africa offers. And we had 300 people here exhibiting their own tourism aspects, and it has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. They've all been here indicating to the UAE market and all of those who are around, who've come to this Arabian market, what is possible in South Africa. And you'd be amazed at just how articulate they are, at how passionate they are about travel, at how passionate they are about their own business, and how passionate they are about attracting visitors to South Africa. If they succeed, our GDP will be at a higher notch than it is right now, and I'm very proud of them. They've done their best to come and sell South Africa to this market.
Minister, I will certainly await that detail, but it would certainly be remiss of me to let you go without asking about the storm that's brewing in South Africa, a reported letter that you sent to President Cyril Ramaphosa regarding members, senior members.
What makes me What makes me think that was your main idea?
Well, not really. The story we're talking about, tourism. Absolutely, we're interested in tourism. It creates jobs in the country, and job creation is a big conversation.
I hope so.
But are you able to take us into this letter and if it really exists?
No, I can't take you to this letter. It was actually a very confidential letter that I wrote to the president after listening to an interview that JJ Tabane had on ENCA, and I wrote to the president as a senior member of the ANC and indicated to the president that I thought perhaps the way to deal with this matter is ABCD. And how it leaked is something I am still wanting to find out. And the storm, I'm very far from the storm. I think that whoever is stoking a storm is being deliberate about it. I have a responsibility to ensure that where the ANC is concerned, and I do feel that I have an answer, to communicate it. And I communicated that to the president, and only to the president, not to the nation. Well, by the time we've reached an agreement as the ANC, then perhaps it might be communicated to the country. So I will not comment any further about a very confidential letter that I am very disappointed is finding its way around South Africa. I don't know if there's any confidentiality that still exists around our space. I'm very saddened that it is out there. But what I wrote there was from the depth of my heart. I love the ANC. I've lived for the ANC. And I want the ANC to thrive for the next, I don't know how many years. We found the ANC the most sober, the most resilient organization. It took us through all the storms of apartheid, brought us home. We have a responsibility to look after it. We have a responsibility also to ensure that we run it the way that its constitution requires us to run it. Beyond that, that's the reason I wrote to the president. I don't know what the storm is. You might perhaps educate me either offline or even now what the storm is. But my job is to make sure the ANC is protected at all times. And I wrote to the president when this matter was raised by Tabane. He raised it to the entire country. And I don't know why it is a storm now when I follow up on it. He raised it because he hoped somebody would follow up on it. I have. Because Minister, I care for the ANC. It's my life. It's my home.
And the importance of the organization to yourself personally and your family is certainly not lost on us. Thank you so much for giving us the time this morning.
Thank you.